Last week's revelation of the Panama Papers showed how the rich and powerful can launder millions of pounds to avoid paying tax. But although we already knew that thousands of properties in London are owned by offshore companies, the leak promises to shed light upon the owners of some of the capital's most exclusive addresses. Ramzan Karmali reports.
This might seem a million miles away from the hustle and bustle of central London, but believe it or not, thousands of high-end properties in our capital are owned by anonymous companies based here in the British Virgin Islands. Some are known as shell companies. These are firms that have the outward appearance of being run like a normal business, but in reality their sole purpose is to manage money.
I think what a shell company gives you is secrecy. So you know if you're stealing public funds, you can move that into UK property through a shell company without any flags being raised. And of course we're not saying that all the money coming through shell companies is corrupt, but the problem is we just don't know because of the levels of secrecy. The Panama Papers really exposed the UK's role in this scandal.
Even our very own National Crime Agency believes that the London property market has been skewed by laundered money and that prices have been artificially driven up by what they call overseas criminals who want to spend their money in Britain. So what can be done to stop offshore wealth being used to buy property in London? One expert who helps the very rich buy high-end properties believes the industry needs to take more responsibility.
We need to move away from being nervous about pointing out what might be going wrong, leave it to the authorities to make that ultimate decision for us. What we want to ensure is that the pirates and the criminals can't use London property for their own ends.
The London property market has been heating up for some time. According to figures out today, house prices in the capital are over 8% higher than this time last year. That's a rise of over £44,000 or £122 every day, more than double what someone on a living wage earns in an 8-hour day. But will these revelations create some hope for ordinary Londoners?
Now they know they can no longer keep this money secret, the attraction of London property reduces, particularly in the centre. So we should expect prices in the very centre of London to begin to fall, and we should expect that to have a knock-on effect to the rest of London.
Whether prices will fall enough to make them more affordable is still debatable. What the Panama Papers have done is certainly highlight the inequality in our housing market. Now there are calls for the Prime Minister to force our overseas territories to make more information public before the anti-corruption summit that he's hosting here in the capital next month. Ramzan Karmali, BBC London News.